So, you just bought a Porsche. Congratulations! You officially joined the club of rich jerk. That sleek German engineering sitting in your driveway just told the world exactly 3 things about you. You have money, you want everyone to know it, and you probably cut people off in traffic while pretending your turn signals don't exist. Let me guess how this happened. You worked hard, climbed that corporate ladder, maybe sold a company, maybe inherited some cash, and one day you walked into a dealership thinking you deserved something special. The salesperson saw you coming from a mile away. They smiled, shook your hand, and within 20 minutes, you were sitting in a 911 with your heart racing, thinking this is it. This is the dream. You signed papers that cost more than most people's annual salary and drove off feeling like you just won at life. But here's what nobody tells you about owning a Porsche. Number 5 on our countdown of things that make you exactly the rich jerk everyone thinks you are, the maintenance costs will make you question every decision you ever made. That oil change you used to get for $40 at the quick lube place, yeah, that's now a $100 adventure at the Porsche dealership. The service advisor will look at you with a straight face and explain why your car needs special synthetic oil blessed by German engineers in lab coats. Your brake pads wear out and suddenly you're dropping $2,000 because apparently normal brake pads are too pedestrian for your fancy wheels. A buddy of mine owned a Cayenne and the check engine light came on. Turned out it was a sensor, a tiny sensor, $800 for a sensor. That's a monthly mortgage payment in some parts of America. And you can't even take it to your regular mechanic because these cars are basically computers on wheels. Your neighborhood garage guy will pop the hood, stare at that flat 6 engine in the back, scratch his head, and tell you to take it to the dealer. So you're stuck paying premium prices forever. Congratulations, you bought a money pit that goes really fast. Number 4, everyone automatically assumes you're compensating for something. This is my favorite part. You could be the nicest person in the world, volunteer at animal shelters, donate to charity, help old ladies cross the street. But the second you pull up in that Porsche, people make assumptions. They see that crest on the hood and think you're either having a midlife crisis or you're trying to impress someone. Maybe both. The guy at the coffee shop, he's judging you. The teenager working at the gas station, definitely judging you. Your own family members, oh, they're absolutely judging you. Your cousin Dave drives a Honda Civic, and somehow he's morally superior now. He'll make comments at Thanksgiving dinner about how he could never spend that much on a car, how it's irresponsible, how there are people starving in the world. Never mind that Dave just dropped $3,000 on a new gaming PC and spends every weekend playing video games in his mom's basement. But sure, Dave, your financial priorities are definitely more virtuous than someone who bought the car they actually wanted. Number 3, parking becomes an Olympic sport. You know what you can't do anymore? Park anywhere normal people park. That tight spot at the grocery store between 2 pickup trucks? Absolutely not. You'll spend 15 minutes circling the lot looking for that perfect spot far away from other cars where nobody can door ding your baby. You become that person who takes up 2 spaces at the back of the parking lot and walks half a mile to the store entrance. People see your car sitting there alone and they think you're arrogant. You're not arrogant, you're terrified. That paint job costs more to fix than a used Corolla. And valet parking? Forget about it. Handing your keys to some teenager who's going to treat your flat 6 turbo like it's a rental car? No thanks. You'll park it yourself 3 blocks away and walk. Your friends think you're being ridiculous. They don't understand that you just spent $90,000 on this thing and you're not about to let Chad the valet treat it like a bumper car. Number 2, the Porsche wave is real and it's awkward as hell. When you drive a Porsche, other Porsche drivers expect you to acknowledge them. They'll wave, nod, flash their lights, whatever. You're supposed to be a part of this exclusive club now, but half the time you're just trying to merge onto the highway and some guy in a Cayman is waving at you like you're old friends. You wave back because it feels rude not to. But inside, you're thinking this is weird, right? This is definitely weird. And God forbid you don't wave back. Some Porsche owners take that personally. They think you're stuck up. You, the person who literally bought one of the most expensive sports cars on the market, are somehow not fancy enough for them because you didn't return their wave. The hierarchy is real. Boxster owners wave at everyone hoping for validation. Cayman drivers are secure but friendly. 911 owners are selective about who deserves their wave. And Turbo S owners, they're too busy going 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds to notice anyone else exists. Number 1, you become everything you used to hate. This is the big one. Remember when you used to see Porsches on the road and think those people are such show-offs? Remember when you'd roll your eyes at the guy revving his engine at a stoplight, or the person who parked their 911 in front of the fancy restaurant where everyone else could see it? Yeah, that's you now. You are that guy. You have become the exact person you used to make fun of. You told yourself you'd be different. You told yourself you bought the car because you appreciate the engineering, the heritage, the way Ferdinand Porsche designed the 911 back in 1963 with that iconic sloping roofline and rear-mounted engine. You bought it for the driving dynamics, the precise steering, the way it handles corners like it's on rails. You bought it because a naturally aspirated flat-six engine is a dying breed, and you wanted to experience it before everything goes electric. These are all legitimate reasons, and you genuinely believe them. You also bought it because it feels amazing to drive something special. You bought it because that startup sound makes your heart race. You bought it because when you pull into a parking lot and people turn their heads, it feels good. Really good. And there's nothing wrong with that. You worked hard for your money, and you decided to spend it on something that brings you joy. That doesn't make you a jerk. That makes you human. The thing about Porsche ownership is that it comes with a target on your back. People project their own insecurities onto you. They assume things about your character based on your car choice. They think you're flashy, arrogant, compensating, and showing off. But most Porsche owners I've met are just enthusiasts who saved up for something they genuinely love. Sure, some of them are actually rich jerks, but most of them are regular people who happen to have good taste in cars. Your Porsche says you value quality over quantity. It says you appreciate precision engineering and German craftsmanship. It says you'd rather have one amazing car than 3 mediocre ones. The maintenance costs are high because these cars are built to last. The 911 has basically the same design philosophy it had 60 years ago because they got it right the first time. That flat-six engine in the back, it's there for a reason. Weight distribution, handling balance, all of it matters. These cars are drivers' cars, built by people who actually care about driving. Yeah, people will judge you. Yeah, parking will be stressful. Yeah, you'll spend too much money on oil changes and brake pads. But every time you take that car out on a winding road and feel the steering communicate exactly what the tires are doing, every time you heel-toe downshift into a corner and nail the apex, every time you hear that engine sing at 7,000 RPM, you'll remember why you bought it. Because driving a Porsche isn't about showing off. It's about the experience. It's about the connection between driver and machine that few cars can deliver. So here's the thing, you're not a rich jerk for driving a Porsche. You're someone who decided that life's too short to drive boring cars. You're someone who values experiences over opinions. You're someone who worked hard enough to afford something special and had the courage to actually buy it instead of settling for what everyone else thinks you should drive. Welcome to the club. We might all be rich jerks together, but at least we're having more fun than everyone else on the road.